Hello and welcome back to another Niklaus Gaming video. In today's video, we're going to be going over a brand new and updated beginner's guide. So obviously I did the first beginner's guide pretty much pretty early on in the game. And since then, so much stuff has happened, so much stuff has been updated. And I think it's really just time to go ahead and kind of revamp it, revise it all. Gotten a little bit more comfortable just talking to myself in a room alone, to be fair. So let's go ahead and take a look at everything. So obviously, if you clicked on this video, either you just really like supporting my videos, which I do really appreciate, or you're someone who is new to the game and they're looking for some guidance, or maybe you're a veteran who just wants to see if I have any other tips and tricks for you. So we're going to go ahead and go over a bunch of different stuff, and that will help guide everything. So obviously this is the first screen that you're going to see. You see your typical city layout, which you're able to change. And in this game, it gives you a massive variety, and there's also a event for it. That's called the decoration contest. So obviously it's locked right now, so I can't particularly just show you. But you also have the Kingdom Chronicles, the Arena, and the Demon Extermination. Obviously, these are always super important. You're going to want to try and do them as much as you can. As you can tell, everything that is red is stuff that was not completed. Everything that is green is stuff that you are able to claim or have already claimed. Obviously, I did port from my original world of 15, and I ported into Kingdom 11. So I was able to reclaim some stuff, which are these three here, and the other ones I was not. So obviously, the arena, if you played any game like this, you're able to set up 5 different marches, either defending or attacking. You can do different ones for each, and then you're just going to be fighting the other players on the field. So I don't particularly do arena very much. I don't have a very good guide on it, but I'd imagine that there's something out there, or maybe just your alliance mates will happen to know. Demon Extermination is something that's kind of new that I've never seen before. So pretty much you have this person or demon, whatever the hell you want to call it, on the left side over here called Dylos. He appears in different levels, starting at level 1 all the way up to level 30. And it's just kind of fun. You set up the 5 marches that do the most damage for you, and then you get ranked along here along with an alliance rank. You get some nice little rewards. 50 hours for the speeds is amazing, 500,000 XP, and then 1,500 demon seals, which you can exchange in the shop over here. So obviously, I typically try to go for the karma. I will almost always try and buy out the stamina and the advanced prayer books as well, and then whatever else. So pretty much stamina. I love it for the, barb hunting, advanced prayer books. It just gives me more and more stuff to summon the heroes. The next tab over here obviously is going to be your alliance, where you have a whole bunch of different stuff. You got the territory, shop, resources, assistance, research, gifts, ranking, and manage. A lot of people do not have this manage tab over here. That is going to be specifically for R4s and top. So as you can tell, I can screen applicants, alliance list, leave alliance, etc. Obviously, the research is going to give you extra buffs on top of whatever you research already. And the gifts are going to be just stuff that your alliance does or buys. They will give you rewards for their purchase. On the left side over here, you are going to have the trading port shop. Obviously, this is going to be some free stuff or some purchase stuff that is honestly really worth getting. Typically, the rule of thumb is anything that has a resource value to it, you want to purchase out. Anything that is 70% or more off in here is typically a good or a great deal. Obviously, some stuff is not that great, but that is okay. They also added a portion to where you can trade in your mana stones, your stars, and then obviously the ults and the ADAs, and then some speed ups here. So you can always trade these in, and these give you some of these coins, which you can use in this exchange shop. I recommend buying out as many of the mana stones every week as you can, as it updates every 7 days. Unique mana stones are pretty nice, and then of course you want to go for as many different speed ups as you're able to do. There's also a good portion of the resources down below. And I do apologize, my heat is on, it's cold, where I live, it was snowing today, so I do apologize for the stuff in the background. So if we go ahead and go up to the upper portion, you're going to see a Titan hangar. This comes eventually. I'd imagine if you pretty much do the story mode for the first couple days, you'll end up getting this. So obviously there are Titans here. There's Esther, Strama, you have Vice, Ox, and a bunch of other ones, and then a couple of these who are only releasing in 2, and then you have Athlon, which is the legendary Titan that is used from the Alliance. So Titans are going to be super strong, but also kind of super expensive to maintain. So let me go ahead and just throw out one of them here. Yeah, let's just throw out the Cavalry one. This is one of the newer ones. Obviously, he is super fast. But each Titan has a tier as well. So you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that whatever heroes that you do happen to put in there are the tier that you want them to be. Next, obviously, you are able to click and look at any city skins. So you have the Winter Holiday, Vampire, Ice, Red Dragon. Most of these are able to be obtained via free-to-play. The Winter Holiday Castle is obviously a legendary city skin that most whales go for, or if you saved enough in a certain amount of time, typically super expensive. You're also able to get the Atlantis Castle and the Bunyan Castle. The Bunyan Castle is going to be through the Cross Dimension, and then the Pumpkin Witch Castle is going to be through another event that is kind of like a server versus server battle, but it's individual. So it's one of those things that you're gonna have to see. And as always, cosmetics. You have some nameplates here that are always some fun stuff to go ahead and just grab, right? So next, let's go ahead and move down. So obviously my city is completely clear of any and all obstacles. So what I really like about this game is that you have a bunch more territory that you can place buildings on, especially for the decoration contest. A lot of people go all in on it and spend hours. Kudos to them. I could never do it. Let's be real here. But you do have these towers which do end up giving you certain boosts. So you have the Fortress of Distress where you have some 2% shield and everything of that sort. So archer type defense, cavalry defense, infantry, and then attack. And then as you can tell, it will let you know whenever you're starting to work your way up. Each tower only has 30 floors. In the beginning it was quite difficult, but obviously this is the jungle city skin. And then the red castle and the ice castle, and then the dark castle. So all these are super important just because they give you that little bit more stats, especially in the early game where there's more than likely going to be a civil war going on in your server. So that's always super important to try and do those as fast as you can. Next, just all the general buildings. You have an archer training ground, a cavalry training ground, infantry. You have combat engineers, and then you also have the special workshops, which is the combat engineer and the balloons. So I'm almost positive that you can build both of these buildings here instantly, but it might be a little bit different. It might be after you actually unlocked those. I'm not entirely sure. So in order to do that, you're going to need to get your specific tiers up to tier 5. As you can tell, I am unlocking my final tier 5 right now, besides the special troops, which is the golden catapult. So obviously super important. Let's go ahead and take a look. So pretty much the same type of stuff in the lab. The only thing I will mention is that the percentages are a lot lower than what you might expect. Some of them are going to be higher boosts than others. Sometimes it's 0.3% increase. Other times it is 1 or 2% increase. So really be careful and actually prioritize lab over heroes. Tier 4 in this game are still super strong. I know that they're making some adjustments right now to where tier 5 are actually going to act like tier 5, and tier 1 are actually going to act like tier 1. So just make sure that you do everything super smart. Obviously, you do need to level up a card in expansion to level 10 before you're able to unlock any of the tier 5. So obviously there are prerequisites, and in order to unlock any tier 5 or some of the level 10 like this, you're going to need your academy level 25. What that entails is you need a hospital level 25. All of your troop trainings need to be level 25. These I am not 100% sure of. You do need one of each resource portion level 25. You also need the operation command and the Titan Foundry level 25. So the Titan Foundry is going to be parts that you're able to repair your Titans with. So obviously each part is going to give you a little bit of a boost. So if I did the 2400, as you can tell, my actual health bar on the Strama Titan increased quite a bit. The Titan Foundry is going to be one of the specialty items that is quite difficult to obtain, but not as hard as other games, right? So if you've ever played another one of those games, you know how many gems it really takes to upgrade both of these buildings, but it depends. If you're free to play, it's going to take some time. You're going to want to hit those barbarians, you're going to want to hit the forts, and you're going to want to do a whole bunch of different stuff in order to keep gaining the pieces so that we can unlock tier 5. Another great way is to do the grand summons. So the grand summons, obviously you are able to obtain some of the oaths and adas. There is a 5% chance of each. I do have plenty of videos of me doing multiple grand summons, so I would definitely go ahead and check those out. They're just a little bit further down in my channel. You can also look at some of the hero playlists down there as well. But there are multiple ways to do it, and this way at least you have a 13% chance of getting a legendary, compared to just a normal advanced summon where there's an 11% chance and you are unable to get any of the ADA or ults. So obviously it's an expensive event. There are 4 total rounds. Each round lasts for 3, I believe it's 3 days. But you also get free stuff. So that's just kind of that portion. I only spent probably a couple thousand gems, and that was just upgrading the operation command, because in the early game there was a civil war. I wanted my operation command as high as it could go while battling in our world. So obviously that is a lot of information to bring into this first 13 minutes of the video, but we're going to go ahead and keep on going. Up at the top here, as you can tell, if you click on your profile, you have all of the general stats. One thing I really do like about this game is you can look and see the elimination tier along with the Titans, and you can also see what type of troops that you manage to eliminate of your own. So obviously I am at 850,000 tier 5, 7.3-ish million tier 4, and then so on. Obviously, as you can tell, tier 1 are quite OP, or they used to be. And as always, you just have the general stats stuff, which is really cool. I really enjoy just looking at stats. It's just one of my favorite things. And then hero power, soldier combat, research, and construction. As you can tell, I'm at just under 34 million research combat power. So it really shows just how much research there is to do, but it's not horrible to get, and we will go ahead and talk about that in just a second. Obviously we have the event tab. This is a little messed up right now. It's typically nice and neat, but there was an update that came out and they are currently working on a fix, so I would not worry too much about that. And then underneath the events, you have all of the current events running. If I had to promote any certain event just for the points, I would definitely do Ruin Defense. It is very, very easy. For the Alliance rank, you get 20 unique mana stones, you get some XP, you get a few gems, and then you're also able to get the individual points, which if you go down to here, honestly it's not really that hard. Just throw 30 to 40,000 troops in here and you'll be totally fine. Just look at the amount of stamina that you get. Look at the 15 hours of the speeds. Look at the 20 events per books. Look at the 50 level 6 resource chests. You have to be crazy not to take advantage of this event. It is one of the best events for free to play, specifically for the stamina recovery, because obviously that's going to help you with barbarians, that's going to help you leveling up your heroes, that's going to help you farm specific items, right? So just some of the ones that are really good. One thing I do recommend about the events, though, is anytime that you're planning on taking and making a push, right? You want to upgrade, 10 things in your lab. You saved up a couple 100 days worth of speeds, and you really want to push that next tier 5. Wait for an event that will give you rewards for it. Never do anything in this game or any game remotely similar to this without getting something back for what you're doing, right? So obviously I am upgrading my tier 4 bombers into tier 5 bombers, right? That's just normal, but I'm not going to claim those until there's an event on. And there's an event called the Tactical Training, which obviously gives you Season 2 Mana Stones, you have gems, and you have 8 hours at the speeds. So obviously we're in Season 2 right now. So most of the stuff is going to apply. Some of the stuff is not. So this one here, this isn't going to come out until Season 2, which is totally fine. It gives you a lot of time to prepare. We have the Season Pass, which comes out, I believe it's like every 30 days. Or it lasts for about 30 days, and then it resets instantly for as long as we've seen so far. You got some pretty darn good value in here. Quite a few mana stones, a lot of speeds, XP, summons. If you're able to afford the $10 and the $5,000 or the $5,000, the 5,000 gems, I would 100% get this. I'm just kind of holding off because with us about to be entering KVK, I just want to make sure I have enough of a stock to, purchase whatever I need to and whatever that may be. Okay. So, with everything being said, let's go ahead and move on to this little tab over here to the left side. So obviously this is going to be all your chapters. There are 37 of them, and they really do give a lot of advanced prayer books. So this is going to allow you to just possibly awaken more and more heroes. Even as a free-to-play, these are super easy. As you can tell, it's not very hard to do any of this, but it's still a lot of fun to watch the story. You have the general daily missions, which pay attention to the 100. You get 500 free gems, 6 advanced prayer books, 100 minutes worth of speeds, and 6 unique mana stones. Can't really beat that, right? You also have alliance missions, so you're able to select certain missions from here and go ahead and go for them. Most of the time, the hunting is the best from what we've seen, unless there's something specific for event-wise where you want to do the fortresses, but those are definitely the best two that we've seen so far. And then, of course, you have a lot of the daily stuff. I don't particularly do a bunch of these, but that's just me. As you can tell, I am only 7.5 million away from defeating 80 million other liege soldiers. I will get that pretty quick. That's not super hard to do. So let's go ahead and jump over and up to the cash shop. That is always super fun to talk about. I know I have multiple videos about this. So as of right now, there's a lot of stuff on my screen that you will not have. So these 3 are part of them. So let's go ahead and look at the second chance. What's really great about this game is that sometimes whenever you're passing up packs, because let's be fair, there are a lot of packs that pop up, but it's going to be super expensive and you just don't want to spend the money, you just want to hold off a little bit, make sure you like the game. That is totally understandable, right? You want to make sure that you play for a little bit and you're actually going to like it. So the packs that you passed up on are going to come back onto the screen. There are 4 every day. They reset every 25 hours. That one is such a really good pack, not just for the mana stones, but for the speeds themselves. So it's something really nice. You also have the daily discount hero, which as you can tell, there are only 5 right now, but we're working on having them introduce more and more of the Season 1 now that we're getting introduced to Season 2. You also have a bunch of stuff that you're only able to purchase once. As you can tell, I do have this one. It's just sitting here, but this is probably one of the best value. I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like $15, and you get 61,300 gems whenever you max out your castle. So you also have the daily supply. You're not going to have these 2 over here. You're going to have all of these guys. I particularly really like the 7-day gem supply and the 28-day gem supply. You also are able to choose your own pack. I use this a lot for the research or if I need quick training speeds. You also have the value packs down here. If you're going to go for anything, I always recommend the heroic deed because you really want to work your heroes over working your lab in the beginning, because you don't want to fight out on the field with tier 5 or tier 4 and your heroes are horrible and you're just going to get smacked. The other stuff I really have never particularly bought besides the new adventure when I was porting, and I've never bought the emergency port or anything else. So those of you who might be a little bit more experienced, let me know what those packs entail. It'd be cool to see what the days and everything are. As of right now, I'm not sure if the monthly packs are going to actually be here. For anyone else, my assumption is no, just because they're kind of new. But if they are, obviously I did the legendary mana stones. It was just way too good to pass up. And then, of course, you do have your general gem shop here for 99 cents up to $70. Then, obviously, we do have your backpack, which is great because you can actually see the total amount of resources you have. The speed ups split by each category. You're able to easily see all of the buffs that you have, all your heroes stuff, and then all your general miscellaneous stuff. So just super nice and easy. So obviously I know this video is getting pretty long, so let's go ahead and talk about just a few other things and then we will go ahead and wrap this up. So in the beginning, you're going to have 52 commanders to work. Now, this may change because of who we actually have in the game. So some of the ones like Rena, you have Riza, you have Roy, Edward, and Envy. Those were specialty heroes that may not come to your server, but that is totally okay. So you don't even need to worry about those. So obviously that's going to be 5 that you don't have to worry about. I know I stress this all the time. If you want to be a cavalry player, focus everything on Calv. If you want to be an infantry player, which I don't recommend at this current point in time, focus everything on infantry. If you want to be a bomber or an archer main, focus on that. If you want to be combat engineer, focus on that. You don't have to max every single hero like I am working on, right? You don't need to do that. As you can tell from my bag, I have tons of VIP just sitting there waiting to just max out VIP level 17. And not everyone is going to want to do any of that. So be smart and play it smart. So for on the wall, if you're more or less a free-to-play, you have the heroes like Krishna, you have Destina, you have Clope, and then you have Roxana. All 4 of those in a certain combination work very well together. For the bigger whales, I personally like doing Erdell and then Helga. So obviously there is VIP. You're able to grab as many of these as you're able to, which is quite a few. But obviously Erdell is a specialty bot commander just like Sekhmet, which is totally okay. Obviously there is the VIP shop here, which I'm gonna purchase all this stuff. In general, I do highly recommend getting as many things that you can, specifically for the resource portion, right? Resources are easy to come by just at, certain stuff. So spending, a couple million resources for all these goodies in here, which are quite a few, is 100% worth it. And I will stress that time and time again. If you also click down here, you're also able to buy certain stuff. Some of them have a limit, some of them do not. So if I take a look, I can just max this out if I really wanted to. I could buy 27 days worth of research speeds for the gems, but I am not. So let's go ahead and take a look at just out in the open world. Obviously, there are going to be multiple stages, just like most of these war games here. So if we take a look, there is a zone 0, No, my apologies. Zone 1, Zone 2, and then Zone 3, which has the castle, which is a super fun event that occurs at the end of the Chronicles, which I did show you over here. Let me see. You unlock the Royal Castle on this one, and then obviously you're able to grab the Royal Castle here. This will announce your king, which allows you to do the titles, which allows you to do the kingdom skills and everything like that. But it is kind of expensive in order to use them. But that is pretty typical. Obviously, you have the Hall of Fame here, which is also a lot of fun. So I covered a bunch of the basics. I do have quite a few more videos on my channel that cover a whole bunch of other stuff, specifically barbarians or certain heroes that you might want to upgrade, specific tiers and heroes that you want to go for, just a bunch of tips and tricks. So if you made it to this point in the video, I do really appreciate you. I know it's a very long one. I try not to do that very often. But as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.